Yes, I did say I would use that song for an intro, but I was just kidding. I can't play that song on YouTube. Why? First of all, copyright infringement, and the lyrics of that song will probably get me kicked off YouTube. Sorry. Sorry, folks. Production team. Okay, let's work on another song. Until then, let's let it rip. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ronald Ray here, welcoming you to this week's episode of Wrestling Gold Friday Night. Yes, indeed, it is Friday. Thank goodness I don't have to work tomorrow. But for those of you who have to work the weekend, we appreciate you, as always. But man, if you got to work outside tomorrow, Lord bless you. I say a Lord bless you if you got to work outside tomorrow, especially if you in the South. Can I get an amen from the chat for that? But yeah, if you do got work, hey, unwind, watch this live stream if you are live. Join us in the chat. Say hello. Don't be shy. I'll say hello back, or just chime in with any kind of comments you want to make. As long as it's decent and nothing too nasty. Let's try to at least make it wrestling related, especially when it comes to classic wrestling. Yes, that's the focal point of Wrestling Gold Friday Night. We look back at the yesteryear, the good old days. Yes, I'm old enough to say, hey, back in my day, that wasn't on my bucket list of things I wanted to do when I get older. When I was younger, but it happens. Anyway, like I said, hopefully everybody had a good week. Uh, we are in the middle of summer. It is hot. It is actually hot in this room. Don't know what the temperature is. I'm not gonna look it up because I got a text message, all kinds of messages. Let's see here. Yeah, I forgot to shut my phone off a little bit here, folks. Let's see here. Well, not shut off, at least cut the volume down because you never know. We might have. Hello, Karen Poole. See how easy it is? Somebody joins. Uh, this is going to be popular with my core fan base here. So I like to put the little. Is that considered an emoji or just a cartoon or just a tag? I don't know what it is. See, that's what happens when you get older. You don't know the hip stuff. As long as I think I. Sorry, this is the part where I digress. Well, I do it plenty of times, but this is why I kind of digress to talk about me a little bit. I don't know why anybody wants to hear anything about me, but I'm glad that you folks do. Or am I just forced to annoy you? Anyway, I think I quit trying to keep up with cool stuff by the time I hit 35. I want to say 35. That sounds like a good number. Because I think it was around, I say 35. My math, I know I work for an engineering company and I suck at math. Uh, yeah, sometimes I got to take all my clothes off just to count to 21. So, anyway, uh, I say probably around 2005, 2009, something like that. Uh, I could. It was probably around 2011, 2012, probably around 2012 or 13. So either way, I just after that I could not tell you the next pop song, the pop artist, even in the music type that I like. I couldn't tell you who the new artists were or the best new band. Uh, I think I mean it took me a while to figure out who what's the name of that group. Gosh, see, I gotta look. Blackstone Cherry. Uh, they're a pretty good group. I think that's the group I'm talking about. See, I gotta look it up because this is the part where I'm just ad libbing and just babbling, just babbling, quit babbling. Anyway, that's a you know, yes, Blackstone Cherry. That's the name of the group. I don't know how long they've been around, but I'm sort of late on that party, and I kind of like the group. I downloaded some stuff uh, from Spotify, of course, to listen on the road and amongst other things. Uh, if you got some decent rock bands that you know of and want to clue me in on some of them, let me know. It was them. I think another few years ago. Before that, there was this group called Ginger, Jinger, and somebody showed me a video. Then it was like, wow. And then besides that one, I think everybody knows the song I'm talking about. It's one where she starts being slow, then all of a sudden, awesome stuff. Anyway, the band, I mean, when she sings normal and does the sounds kind of cool. Uh, and the band plays very good, so I did that kind of stuff. Uh, I say the last group I really got behind and have followed. Uh, Pretty much, whenever they have a new material out, I usually download it because we're in the downloading streaming phase of our existence. So I think the last group was Seven Dust. So every time, like when I first bought, because I read about them in magazines, kind of like okay, music and wrestling kind of go hand in hand. You read about them like Metal Edge magazine or something like that, then you see their CD in your local CD store or Best Buy. And it's like, okay, I hear about this group. Let me try them out. And I just thought they rocked. Plus, Atlanta, Georgia band, gotta love that. So I've been listening to Seven Dust ever since their first CD. Uh, Ever since, I mean, especially that first song you hear, Black. I mean, good gosh, I mean that just that rocks. Uh, but anyway, let's get into some wrestling talk here. Of course, we here at the on this show with Wrestling Gold Friday Night. We talk about classic stuff here, and let's see here. So you're around 40 when you quit, kind of trying to keep up with trendy things and what's cool, not cool. See, even me with Marvel movies, I think let's see, like the Marvel movies, I was disappointed in Black Widow. I liked Spider-Man Far From Home. Then I thought the WandaVision was okay, the TV series. I bought Disney Plus just to see uh, uh, Falcon and a Winter Soldier, and I was disappointed in that show. Disappointed in the second uh, Doctor Strange movie. Just so disappointed. So I think, I think the last Marvel movie I watched was Doctor Strange. So I was disappointed in that one. Um, so I'm not really. But I will see the new Deadpool movie. Definitely gonna like that. Anyway, enough with the entertainment and the babble talk and about pop culture stuff. Uh, let's get in some wrestling. Let's get in some wrestling history. Whoa, let's get in some wrestling history here. Like I said, we'll go in this date wrestling history. Of course, this date is June 14th. The year is 2024. But on this date, in whoops notes. Thank you. I'm showing y'all how an amateur does it. Anyway, on this day in 1975, Hiro Matsuda begins his second run as NWA World Junior Champion by defeating Ken Mantell in St. Petersburg, Florida. Of course, uh, if the name Hiro Matsuda sounds familiar, he trained Lex Luger, he trained Ron Simmons, I believe he helped train Paul Orndorff. Of course, Mike Graham, I think he helped train. Also, famously, he helped train Hulk Hogan. And during one session, he broke one of his legs. Of course, you know that leg healed. Hulk Hogan came back. I should have said that better. Uh, I should have. A young Terry Bollea stepped in there and got one leg broken, but that leg healed, came back. This young man by the name of Terry Bollea tried it again, got the other one broken, and as soon as that healed, he came back again, and they were like, "Hey, this dude ain't going to never fucking quit." Big blonde hair dude, but he wound up growing up to become Hulk Hogan, of course. I done spoiled that in the beginning. Uh, let's see, but yeah, he had a hand in training all those guys. Lots of legends he trained there. All right, on this day in 1976, Checky Fargo and Jerry Jarrett defeated Don Green and the Scorpion to win the Southern Tag Team Champions at the Mid South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee, of course. Other matches on that card that drew 5,750 people. Bill Dundee, Playboy Frazier defeated J.C. Dykes and Sam Bass. Don Anderson pinned Bobby Leons. Charlie Cook and Don Canardo defeated the Dominoes. Southern champion Jerry Lawler defeated Frankie Lane. Alright. Also on this date in history in 1978, Baron von Raschke and Greg the Hammer Valentine defeated Paul Jones and Ricky Steamboat for the NWA World Tag Team Championship in Raleigh, North Carolina at the WRAL TV studios. Yes, this was the height of studio wrestling. Gosh, I miss studio wrestling. Ugh, I need a beer. All right. On this date in 1981, the High Flyers, Greg Gagne and Jim Brunzell, they defeated the East West Connection, Adrian Adonis, and Jesse Ventura for the AWA World Tag Team titles in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I believe this is number 2 for them. I think they kind of traded those belts a couple times. On this date in 1984, Tony Inoki wins the International Wrestling Grand Prix. This, of course, was the annual tournament they have. Now it's known as the G1 Climax. Uh, and this is the first time he won it since 1981, according to this. I think that's wrong, but anyway, the person who came in second in that tournament was Andre the Giant. Um, on this date in 1989, NWA Clash of the Champions 7, Guts and Glory from Ritz Epps Fitness Center in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I do remember watching this live as it happened. Probably one of the, in my opinion, one of the better clashes they did have. I mean, it was just, uh, again, this a crowd is, it wasn't this cheap, you know, let's do a chant, let's, do this or whatever. It was just, or anything piped in. It was this raw, real crowd emotion. And at this show, um, I think it was mostly soldiers too. So let's see. The big thing about this show, a couple things, we got to crown brand new NWA World Tag Team Champions. Of course, they were held up after the Road Warriors Varsity Club match where Teddy Long finally turned from referee to a heel because he was doing some kind of like the Danny Davis thing in WWF, and a few territories done this before. But on that card, the fabulous Freebirds, Jimmy Garvin, because they kind of hyped that up too. It's like, all right, we're gonna see the newest member of the Freebirds, but kind of knew right ahead it's gonna be Jimmy Garvin because I knew about their history in world class, and they kind of briefly tagged together right before Michael Hayes went back to world class uh, during the kind of dying days or whatever. In that era where he was team with Steve Cox, and they had a free. It was like Terry Gordy, um, Buddy Roberts, and Iceman Parsons. Anyway, we'll get into that some other time, but knew right away it was going to be Jimmy Garvin because of that history. But they defeated the Dynamic Dudes, the most hated babyface tag team in the history of the world, I think. That was a semifinal match. Ranger Ross, Georgia's own Ranger Ross, from Ackworth, Georgia, defeated the Terrorists in 85 seconds. I remember the pop from that crowd for that young man at the time. Uh, the legendary, I'm telling you, folks, this legendary tag team here, the Ding Dongs, made their debut. Now, where I got this information from, it says it was Fred Dean and Joel Dean, but I think it was Greg Evans and Richard Sartain was playing the Ding Dongs. Poor guys. It either or two talented tag teams, and they got saddled with this shit. Anyway, gosh, I mean, even sit there at that time in 1989, I'm not going to try to do the math of how old I was at that. Let's see, 10. I was 13 years old, and I was like, this is cheesy as hell. Two guys with bells on their outfits, masks, and ring of the bell had bells on their boots, bells on their wrists. They were annoying. They were pissing that crowd off. They were killing that crowd, or at least trying to. But they did make their debut. They defeated Cougar J and George South. Uh, the the Midnight Express, Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane defeated the Samoan SWAT team. Let's pretend like y'all didn't see that. Let's see. Whoops, wrong button. And as far as people popping loud, you had these two big guys who were just been fighting each other for years now, and they hooked it up again this night, and just like you just heard the whole crowd boom, boom as they were just pounding each other. Uh, and 13-year-old me, I popped. Uh, Steve Williams and Terry Gordy had a match here, and of course it wound up being a double count out. This before they became Doc and Gordy, the Miracle Violence Connection in Japan. Uh, but yeah, they used to have some knockdown drag out, uh, very snug wrestling at the time. But this was both of them in their prime, or at least heading to their primes, and they were kind of say fucking awesome. Tag team or against each other, they were just awesome. I do recommend people go back to what, even though this is the Jim Hurt era. Ted Turner done bought it. Jim Hurt, obviously, the Ding Dongs. Jim Hurt was involved. This was a pretty cool card. Well, not everything. Let's see. Norman the Lunatic defeated Mike Justice in 47 seconds. The Varsity Club, Kevin Sullivan and Mike Rotundo defeated the Steiner brothers, Rick and Scott Steiner. Steen defeated Wild Bill Irwin to retain the NWA World Television Championship. And the Freebirds wound up defeating the Midnight Express, Bobby and Stan Lane, to win the vacant NWA World Tag Team Championship. Let's see. In the main event that night, Ricky Steamboat defeated Terry Funk by disqualification. Of course, Terry Funk was middle aged and crazy at the time, so he kept on wanting to put a whooping on Ricky Steamboat till Lex Luger came in, but Lex Luger wound up turning heel that night and started whooping up on uh, Ricky Steamboat himself. The story was he was United States champion. He was trying to, you know, he was frustrated about not getting a title match, but yet here's Ricky Steamboat, the number one contender. So that's the story behind that. Um, but like I said, I do recommend watching this clash. Like I said, 13 on me. Thought this was probably one of the better clashes they ever had. Period. Um, I think it's just because of the Steve Williams Terry Gordy thing myself. Let's see. All right, on this day in 1993, the Steiner brothers and Money Inc. decided to have a 5 day period where they'll trade the World Tag Team, the WWF, excuse me, World Tag Team Championship. Of course, Steiners will wind up winning that trade-off war at the end. Uh, they'll keep the titles until they lost against the Quebecers. Um, but that was kind of weird too. Watching Raw, it just kind of got started, and all of a sudden I see the Steiners there. It I was excited, but yet disappointed. I'm like, oh my gosh. Or first off, I was like, oh my gosh, they're not, they didn't have to change their names or anything. They didn't try to do anything too goofy with them. And of course, I was kind of going my, let's see, 89. I was 16 ish, 17 maybe. Like I said, I can't do math. So I was kind of working and, you doing teenager stuff. So I didn't watch a whole lot, but I did watch this and I was like, oh, cool. Steiners are in WWF, but kind of sad because they were like NWA guys. Or at this time, of course, it was called WCW, but WCW is doing some dumb shit at the time, likewise. And anyway, uh, on this date in 1998, WCW presented the Great American Bash on pay per view from the Baltimore Arena in Baltimore, Maryland, drawing 12,810 fans with 290,000 homes watching on pay per view. That was up from 220,000 homes for the 1997 edition. Wow. So yeah, the Monday Night Wars, they it was white hot. This is probably the real last real good hot period of wrestling. At the time, WCW was doing pretty decent thing. This was kind of started where they were kind of this jumping the shark, in my opinion. Having two NWO factions, the Hollywood faction, the white and black against the red and black Wolfpack. Wolfpack were baby faces, blah blah blah. Like I said, to me, it kind of jumped shark a little bit at that point. Um, but they still have pretty good undercards, still had good talent there, so people still watch, people still have interest in it. Let's see, Booker T, who's starting his rise as a single competitor, he wound up defeating Chris Benoit in their best of seven head-to-head series. Uh, Booker T won 43, and this also gives Booker T the World Television Championship. Um, let's see, Chris Kanyon defeated Perry Saturn. Chris Jericho defeated Dean Malenko by disqualification to win the vacant WCW Cruiserweight Championship. Juventud Guerrero defeated Reese. One of the most entertaining feuds at the time, especially the undercard feuds, was Chavo Guerrero Sr. and Eddie Guerrero. Again, for anything to watch in 1998 as far as the undercard and WCW, it's this feud right here. Eddie was a heel at the time. He was trying to toughen Chavo out, saying, all right, come on, little trooper. And Chavo was finally acting like he was losing his mind or whatever, uh, riding around a stick pony or whatever you call it. Like I said, very entertaining stuff at that time. And of course, it was coming from Eddie Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero, um, so that should be no surprise. Uh, I sort of messed up here. Booker T, I guess won the chance uh, to wrestle Fent Finley for the WCW World Television Championship. So that's where he officially won the WCW World Television Championship. My bad. Bill Goldberg defeated Conan in under 2 minutes to retain the WCW United States Championship. Um, in a side nugget, the win gave Goldberg an even 100 wins without a single loss. Hollywood Hulk Hogan and Bret Hart defeated Roddy Piper and Randy Savage by submission. Then, for whatever reason, Piper and Savage, I think they didn't get along, whatever. But they wanted to fight each other. Then kind of forgot what happened. This is kind of some of the silly stuff they were doing at the time. But right after the match, Piper defeated Savage in 97 seconds by submission as well. And the main event of the night, it was, whoops, where's my button? It was Sting defeating the Giant to win both the WC because they were partners, but one of them went Hollywood, the other one went uh, Wolfpack. Of course, Sting went Wolfpack because he's a fan favorite, of course. Um, so they were champions at the time. So like, okay, we gotta have a match to determine if I win, if one person whoever wins gets to choose a partner. So like I said, Sting defeated the Giant. Of course, the Giant being the Big Show, Paul White, to win both WCW Tag Team Championships. Uh, the win allows Sting to choose his own partner to become tag team champions with, and Sting choose Kevin Nash to be his partner. And that concludes the portion of um, today in wrestling history. And I can't emphasize enough. Just kind of go back. Um, if I recommend anything '98, yes. Uh, watch the Booker or Chavo Guerrero Jr. and Eddie Guerrero feud. Uh, I know that the whole Chris Benoit thing, and rightfully so, leaves a bad taste in all of our mouths. But they had some pretty good matches. This is everybody's seen. Uh, Everybody was already seeing the talent that Booker T had. So I think Stevie Ray might have gotten hurt or something like that, and so they started pushing Booker as a singles. And of course, um, when Stevie Ray did come back, he brought in Ahmed Johnson, but they call him Big T. Um, the feud with Booker T. Can't remember too much from that. Uh, I just know that Ahmed Johnson got swolled up in a not so good way. Um, he had put on some. They beat some multiple double cheeseburgers. Let's just say that. Um, but like I said, Booker T had progressed to be pretty freaking good, and they started pushing him as a singles, and then of course he wound up being the true last WCW World Champion. I'm not gonna count that when the whole Invasion thing and The Rock becoming WCW champion. I personally, even though it's in the books, yes, it's official. I personally just, I don't. If it wasn't owned by Jim Crockett or well, technically speaking, Turner Broadcasting, even though Turner Broadcasting had merged with AOL Time Warner, and it was AOL Time Warner's company when they sold it. Um, Speaking of which, has anybody seen the Who Killed WCW docuseries yet? Is it supposed to be a docuseries or just a one-off documentary? As if they need. I mean, apparently Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan wasn't asked to be interviewed, or if they were asked, it's like, pay me, brother. Whew. Uh, but as far as Clash of the Champions are concerned, yeah, if you got the Peacock, go on there. If you can find or find it on YouTube, Clash of the Champions 7, Guts and Glory. Uh, pretty good. Pretty good. Even though it has the ding dongs and Norman the Lunatic. Not all cars can be perfect. But Jesus Christ, it's hot in here. So yeah, I actually tried had a watcher kind of give me a message to say, hey, I'm probably going to be running a little late. Sorry. I had one of those family members shoot me a text, so I'll figure out answer that. So, what was I at? So here we go. Let's see here. So okay, let's see if this works or not. Uh, I'll. It's already up on the chat. I'll put it up again. Here's the link to the world class video uh, that we're going to do the watch along with. Um, this is this show took place on 420. 420. uh, 420, 1985. I said 420 again. uh, and like I said, uh, if you're watching on desktop or laptop, you know, uh, pull up another window. That way you keep seeing me. Then click on this link, and probably gonna have to split the windows up. That way you can kind of watch it and watch me too. Yes, because if you stay here, it is greatly appreciated. Uh, Gotta get those, try and get those numbers, you know. Um, so, and if you're just watching on your phone, if you got somebody else has a phone, borrow theirs, or if you got a tablet, you know, watch me on your phone or watch me on your tablet, and watch the show, the world class show, on your on the either or device. The opposite of one you're watching me on. If that makes sense. Did I confuse everybody? Because by golly, I'm fucking confused. So anyway, we're gonna kind of do like a what happened when with Tony Schiavone. They sometimes will watch um, old shows. Excuse me, folks. Like I said, I'm gonna show you how amateur does this shit. Uh, but anyway, it's kind of like they do. I'll do a little countdown when I get to zero or five, four, three, two, one, go. Uh, that's when I'll push play, or whenever I say push play, push play. Hopefully, it happens simultaneously, so we're not totally offbeat with each other. Get it? Got it? Good. Because by Kylie, I understand what I'm saying, and I already got all this shit up and recording stuff. So let's go and watch some world class. You ready? And five, four, three, yeah, three, two. I'm tempted. One, push play. Night and Demon
Welcome
Action
to
Down.
World Class Championship Wrestling
And this is
from the world
1985.
famous
Looks like there's
Sportatorium. Major League of Professional Wrestling World
inside
Class
the
Championship
Sportatorium.
Wrestling scene around the world. Well, good evening. I'm Bill Mercer. Great to have you with us.
So this
and
is
we have a tremendous card.
definitely
The
for
Freebirds
their business
are
with the
coming
ship.
back. The fabulous Freebirds. Hayes, Gordy, and Roberts will be here.
And I'll be
we'll
honest,
see
I
the
was never a
great main
Bill
event
Mercer
of
fan
Gino
as far as
Hernandez
commentators.
and Kevin Von Erich.
I don't know, something
That
about
takes
him,
us a long time back because these two have battled almost
I
from
mean, he
the
was
very
as
beginning.
bad as Michael Cole.
Gino Hernandez, Kevin Von Erich, our main event,
I just
and we'll
thought
have a
he was
lot more of the
kinda boring.
world's greatest wrestlers. We'll be right back with our first event right after this on World Class Championship Wrestling. And our first event on World Class Championship Wrestling, there is Gary Hart, and there is his one-man gang. As he calls him, the
yes,
Moon Man. Look out.
That is the
Chains
one-man
out.
gang, former UWF
Terry
champion,
Daniels, very
former star in the
expertly
WWF.
leaving the arena in a hurry.
Before he had to give up
Well,
the one-man gang gimmick and
really
become
represents
a
a problem
fiend
for
after
Terry
being,
Daniels,
yes,
but Mark Lawrence
that's
will
the same
tell him what
guy.
it's all about.
I actually watched a shoot interview with him recently. Seems pretty
Ladies and
freaking
gentlemen,
cool.
I will announce this bout from the floor as World Class
definitely not
Championship Wrestling
Chicago, I think
is
from
coming to you
North
from
Carolina.
the world famous Sportatorium. All matches are sanctioned by the National Wrestling Alliance. Brock
Okay, they were
Levitch,
still
David Manning,
ran
and
by
Rick
the,
Hazard are your
still
official.
part of the NWA, one
This
of the
event won't
NWA
fall
territories.
15-minute time limit. In the ring and already out
I
of
think it was-
control, Gary Hart
Was it
presents his giant
1986
from
when he pulled
Chicago,
out officially from
468 pounds from Halstead Street, the one-man gang.
the NWA?
His opponent behind the ring on the floor, 225 pounds, Terry Daniels.
Private Terry Daniels. Remember him in the WWF.
Bronco Lubitsch, your referee.
Part of the Sergeant
Well, an
Slaughter's
interesting introduction.
Cobra
I don't blame
Corps.
Mark Lawrence for finding some place to get out of the way of the
pretty much
swinging
enhanced the
chain
talent wherever he was.
as the one-man gang. Looks like all of Halstead Street, not just a part of it.
Oh, Terry Daniels, don't do something stupid.
He's ready for anything. Skull and crossbones. The Moon Man, as Gary Hart
Oh, you already
sometimes
done
refers
something
to him.
stupid in the ring.
Still taking off chains, still taking.
Bring my chain back, man!
Bring his blanket back. I think his chain. Whoop, here comes Terry Daniels. I don't. Hey, if you got a shot at it, take it from any angle you can. And Daniels said, there he is. I'm going to go after him. And he's on his back. Piggyback. Terry Daniels. Smash now into the corner, buckling by the one-man gang. Ah, the big man.
And of course, this is
Kamala,
for Terry
Gordy.
Hart
The
completely.
one-man
kind of
gang. What an
escaped as
awesome
well.
sight they are. And this is one of the most fierce-looking men. Terry Daniels. Just a speck compared to the size of the one-man gang. Gary Hart certainly has found somebody to equalize, to
I don't
correct some
think Woman
measures.
Gang was named by
We look
anybody
forward
like
to the day when the one-man
name
gang
person.
battles the Von Erich. This
I
will
think
be
he
a
was
different sort of
one
story.
those,
At least I
he
think it
ran
will. At least
into
I hope
people
so.
who ran outlaw shows at the time, and North
Count is
Carolina.
on right now.
And that's who
So drop Terry
Broken
Daniels
man.
and move back as
they
the
kind of learned
word from Gary
along
Hart on the
way.
side of the ring.
As far as
Gary Hart saying stay tight.
Crusher Brute Kill.
I don't think it's any problem for the one-man gang to stay tight.
Jim
Here
Cornette
comes
had a
the
funny
gang
story
on
about
the
him.
floor
About,
with Terry Daniels.
he managed, one-man gang when his Crusher Broomfield in Memphis, and his
Terry
career back in those
Daniels.
10 years. But he did out. I mean, once he
Terry
got the one-man gang gimmick,
rather ingloriously around the ring and
and
sort
a
of a one-arm
couple
grab
people
by the one-man
used
gang
that moniker. I think
into that corner post.
I know Ron Garvin did.
Well, if they're all like him on Halstead
I was
Street,
gonna say
it's not
Norval
safe for
Austin,
him
but
to
Norval Austin
journey up and down after 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
a little before Sylvester really became
It'll be about,
famous as
not like trying
the
to
Junkyard
drive
Dog.
LBJ or Central in the Dallas area after 3 o'clock in the
And Bronco
afternoon.
Lewis, the referee.
Take a few of those guys. And Gary Hart has certainly found one of the all-time huge men, the big man who caused the excitement, caused the thumps that sound like thunder and crashing rockets. Now Terry Daniels on the corner buckle.
I agree, Jack Hanson. They did have some pretty good demo work, pretty good production at the time.
Marco Levitch saying to Gary Hart, warning Gary Hart about taking care of him a little better. Terry Daniels is still on the floor, still in trouble. Among the muck and mire.
Yes,
and
you
there
can't
goes
tell already. This is
crippling into the corner post.
1985.
And Marco
No
Levitch
phone cameras. That's a real
trying to bring some
professional type camera that
Gary
he would
Hart
have to
seems
go
well
get the film
satisfied the
developed
way it's going.
after he took the picture.
No, we don't need the chair. When the one-man gang came in, he said he wanted his chains around.
Oh, here we go.
Now there is a driving hammer across the
That's
chest.
the one thing with Texas too. I mean, they
Another
let
one.
their shit in.
And there's an elbow drop into the neck of Terry Daniels. 1, 2, and 3, and the one-man gang, not unexpectedly, does come out victorious. And in our next segment, we have a special announcement from the National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA. So be sure to stay tuned.
He used to elbow right then, but
And let's hear what Mark Lawrence has to say.
The one-man gang is the also winner of the first bout.
He headbutted him with a chain on his head. Some vicious shit.
And the one-man gang with his last blow against Terry Daniels. We'll be back with our big announcement, the important word, next on World Class Championship Wrestling.
He will utilize the splash, but call it the 747 splash. I guess he decided not to do that this time.
Here with us now,
Okay.
Fantastics, the Midnight Express, referees Rick Hazard, Marco Levitch, and Mr. Jim
Not to
Cornette,
give
representing the Midnight
away,
Express,
but
and Ken
is-
Mantell, who represents World Class
It's
Championship
a little bit of
Wrestling's
a
governing
slow burn
board,
because
and
you
he
know
has
they
an
like to
important announcement
kind
to
of
make
talk too much.
about
Oh yeah,
the American Tag Team
Ken Mantell,
Championship.
who started
Thank
Wild
you,
West
Bill.
Wrestling, not
Everybody
Bill the
knows
Mantell.
of the
Or did I say
feud
Ken
that's been
Mantell?
going on between the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette and the Fantastics. On
This is-
two
this winds up
occasions
being a
now,
pretty good
Jim
payoff at the end.
Cornette has interfered in this title match and has caused these belts to be held up. Everyone also knows that there's a big spectacular coming up, and both teams, I know, want to go into that stadium as the American Tag Team Champions. The World Class Championship Wrestling governing body has made a decision. These belts and this title is held up. It will be decided on the spectacular, and for this match, Jim Cornette will be barred from ringside.
I think that's the
Spectacular bit of information.
second annual David Dynamic Memorial Parade of Champions.
That is stunning news.
Hey, let me tell you people something. This is stupid that we're out here in the first place with these goofs, and it's stupid to do this whole thing out in front of these people, but I refuse. I will not be barred from ringside. My mother's lawyer's going to talk Nick Static Watergate, Bill Mercer, and there's no way that she's going to go for this, and there ain't no way that I'm going to go for it. You are not going to bar me, Ken Mantell. You can't do it. I won't let you. There's no legal way to bar me. I will not let my men go into combat with these lunatics without me there to guide them.
Wait, Jim Cornette, wait just a second. Ladies and gentlemen, we felt like that was the only way that we could get a fair and honest match. Now,
Because usually Ken Cornette would use that turnbuckle.
Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers.
Hold it, please, so we can get this announcement in.
Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers have a request to make. Let's hear it.
Who cares?
We'd like to make a change, Jimmy. You can go ahead and come on down ringside, brother.
Okay.
You go ahead and come on down ringside, all right? We want this right now known to everybody. We're going to let you come ringside. But also, we got a surprise for him, Mr. Mantell. We've got a special guy that's always wanted to get in the wrestling business, and we've been, he's on the side. He's wanted to get in this sport a long, long time, and we met him in South Africa a while back, and he's wanted to get in professional wrestling, and we feel that he should get the closest seat in this mid spectacular, you know. And I'll tell you, he's really a good guy, and we want him to come down.
Come here a second, Bill Mercer. You're trying to tell me you want me to sit next to a friend? He's probably some big wrestler or somebody like that. Is he a wrestler?
No, he's not a wrestler. He's never been in the ring before. He's from South Africa, just like we told you. We was over there wrestling. Listen, for once in your life. We was over there wrestling, and he said he wanted to get into professional wrestling. Hey, listen, Cornette, and we want you down at ringside because all that you've done to us, all the pain and all the anguish you caused us, we want you down the ring.
What is his name?
Okay, his name is Little John. His name is Little John.
Can we see him?
His name is Little John from South Africa.
Wait a minute, what you're trying to tell me now, Fulton and Roger, what you're trying to tell me is you got a friend of yours that wants to get into wrestling. He's never, hold him back, he's never been a wrestler before, and his name is Little John.
Little John.
They call him Little John. He's never been a wrestler. He wants to get into wrestling. He wants to sit next to me. If I let him do that, where is the wee little fella anyway? Is he around here any place? If I let him do that, then I can sit at ringside. I can be at ringside with my men.
Jimmy Cornette, you wimp. We're going to bring Little John out here. Tommy?
Hey, I tell you what, punk. I tell you what, you goof. You got it. You got a deal, you idiot. Because if you think you're going to bring some little midget geek or something out here and put him next to me and will keep me from doing it, you're an idiot. They're both stupid. They don't got good sense.
They were pretty good.
Well, he's not a midget.
And mess Little John. There's your payoff.
He's I guess, 7 feet tall. Or how big?
Well, that's the biggest man I've ever seen in my life, Bill Mercer. Jim Cornette agreed to it.
How tall is this man?
He is 7'7", well over 450 pounds, brother. I'll tell you, we're excited about that. He's a bit the awesome sight that since Andre the Giant. I think he's bigger than Andre the Giant.
Well, he is huge.
Little John.
That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, in the stadium, Jim Cornette will sit ringside, but he'll sit next to Little John.
And we'll be back with more World Class Championship Wrestling in just a moment. The Freebirds are back, and World Class Championship Wrestling had the chance to talk to the threesome.
I'm here with the fabulous Freebirds, Hayes, Gordy, and Roberts, talking about the spectacular tag bout, 2 rings, Texas Stadium.
Well, you know, Mark Lawrence, everybody all over the world, everybody that watches world-class wrestling, everybody that knows anything that's going on is shocked and amazed that the fabulous Freebirds and the Von Erichs are going to team up. And there's been a lot of bad blood. We're not saying we're going out to dinner after the match or anything, but when you stop and think about the professional sport of wrestling, and you stop and think about tag team wrestling, which we brought into prominence some years ago, and how it has exploded, and you think about $100,000 and you have to have another tag team on your side, and tag team wrestling is so incorporated and it's so precise to know what each other's going to do. We figured if we had to go get another tag team to team up with us, we might as well get the ones that are just about as good as we are, and that would have had to been the Von Erichs.
All right, now the penalties are stiff should any problems occur within a team, but nevertheless it still must be difficult because the history of the Freebirds and the Von Erichs is a rough one.
Well, that's that's true, Mark Lawrence. But you know when we seen that tape of that armored car coming out, man, backing out, and they opened up that door, and that cat stepped out there with $100,000 in that briefcase, man. And you know we're already guaranteed the biggest purse anyway in Texas Stadium. That's why they signed us first. But the incentive of the $100 grand, and even being on the second annual David Von Erich Memorial Show, I mean, it's the biggest thing in professional wrestling. But for that, like I said before, we'd sell Mama for $100 grand. And as long as there's no problems with them and there's none with us, because we've all got one goal in common, and that's walking away with the 100 and the car.
And the car, which is right here behind us, is that another problem? That only going to one winner?
Well, it's not a problem if nobody else has a problem with us winning it. I mean, you know, all the matches, Mark, you could think about the Canadian Lumberjacks, the cage matches, the tag team Texas Tornado matches. They all have
the country whipping.
The country whipping matches. All right, they've all been history, and you know, go down the annuals of wrestling. But right now, what's on everybody's mind is the same thing, because people know us around here, man. We've drank enough whiskey to float a battleship around, but we don't let no smart-talking people run us out of town. And this car right here, Bam Bam, you're going to like this car or what, man?
I can't wait to win it.
Buddy, what do you think about the car?
You know, I just want to thank Guy Laney for offering the Freebirds a very nice car like this. As a matter of fact, guys, I'd like to take it out for a test drive. Do you think it's possible right now if I could?
Buddy, you're not going to drive it once we win it anyway. No, buddy. Buddy, no. Not now, okay?
Just let me sit in it.
What do you want to sit in? Okay, go ahead, get the feel for it. It's a beautiful car, Mark Lawrence, and the people that win this, the people will know as a supreme tag team.
All right, the words of the Freebirds ready for Texas Stadium.
They also had a couple of coffee in WWE there. All right, Big Sun is on ring.
World-class Championship Wrestling welcomes back the men from Bad Street, USA.
As far as ring entrance, okay. As ring entrance, like for like the original people, or originally done for certain people, like the DX was done for DX, Stone Cold, Broken Glass, whatever, for Steve Austin. Voices for Randy Orton. Bad Street USA, sung by Michael Hayes. Still the best ring entrance you use it for, you know, that's for this one particular person, not just, you know, a song you hear on the radio or anything like that. It was original for them. Bad Street USA still top everybody.
Michael Hayes, of course, the most flamboyant, maybe the most rambunctious. Terry Gordy, the big man, not on a par with the one-man gang and the others. And Buddy Roberts always out of the third man who got in the big fight when everybody else had left. An interesting threesome, a wild threesome. It's great to see them back.
And
even the young guys, too. They've been around a long time. They've made a name for themselves. Right now, though, here is... Whoops, the music did not quite finish.
I got why I called him Burt Mall.
There's Terry Gordy. Now it has. Let's go to Mark Lawrence.
I started calling him Dirt Malls, but flea markets.
The Sportatorium is rocking and rolling as we bring you this next blockbuster tag team bout. One fall, 45-minute time limit. First in front of me, from Oklahoma University, 260 pounds, Ed Thomas. His teammate from South Carolina, 275 pounds, Thor. Their opponent's one of the most exciting tag teams in all of pro wrestling. Atlanta, Georgia, 280 pounds, fabulous Freebird, Terry Gordy. And his brother and teammate, Atlanta, Georgia, 260 pounds, Michael Hayes. In the ring with him at this time, the third party, the Freebirds, Buddy Roberts. Rick Hazard, your referee.
Well, of course, it's not going to be 3-on-2. It'll be Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes against Thor. Here's Michael.
But yeah, this is first, after yeah, you're supposed to click that link above.
Michael Hayes is back. He hasn't changed a bit. It'll be Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy against Thor and Ed Thomas from the University of Oklahoma. Former fine athlete there, and for those of you around the world that may not realize it.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, so you're supposed to click on that link above. And like I said, kind of open up 2 windows and use that link to watch the video. Oh, okay. So I got to keep my volume down.
Here's Michael Hayes. And a moonwalk. The thunder and lightning, the North.
How about now? Can you hear me pretty good now?
The Norwegians is
but yeah, you're supposed to like open up another window and click on that link. Because this is actually owned by the WWE. That's why I can't do like I usually do, just kind of share the whole thing. That's the reason I was like, okay, here's a link. You click on the link through another window. That way you can watch me and that. Okay.
$100,000 in a brand new Lincoln automobile donated by Guy Laney Lincoln Mercury in Denton, Texas, have interested other people like Ric Flair, the world champion. So it's up to a 12-man event now as Thor and Michael Hayes come together. So Flair will join the likes of the one-man gang, Gino Hernandez, Chris Adams, Kimbala, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, another Oklahoman, against, in this 12-man bout for $100,000 in the car, the Freebirds and the Von Erichs. Those 6 teaming up together. Oh, is that an awesome sounding event. Last year, the greatest crowd ever. There were 46,000 to watch the first event at Texas Stadium. And with the championship match of Kevin Von Erich and Flair and all the others that are coming up, I would imagine it will surpass those figures. Listen to the crowd here. The most famous wrestling arena in the world, the Sportatorium. And there goes Thor to the mat. And a hammer by Michael Hayes, the street fighter. Thor may not realize that. After all, he's named for a god of thunder and lightning. And lightning struck from the opposite manner. Now here comes Thor back. Tag team event. Our main event coming up will be Kevin Von Erich and Gino Hernandez as we watch the Freebirds return.
Thor there is definitely Kevin Kelly. Wrestled as Nails at one time. Famously or infamously
picks up the beat.
Had a disagreement with Vince McMahon. And that argument got physical.
Michael Hayes always likes to confuse his opponents with something, and I'm sure Thor's a bit confused by all this attention. Thor's trying to break out of the headlock. Terry Gordy very nonchalant in the corner as he watches the action. Ed Thomas has not been in the ring yet. Michael Hayes holding the headlock. Gordy
and of course,
closely now. Ready to come in if Michael Hayes.
Thor here, he's a Minnesota guy as well. Legit tough guy, went tough man competition.
What an enormous human being. You ought to be playing center for somebody.
Did get a somewhat of push by calling himself Mr. Magnificent. Kevin Kelly was managed by Sherry Martel for a brief moment. Then Medusa Michele when Sherry Martel left the AWA. Also teamed with Nick Kaninsky for a short time, but he left in 1988. 1990 wrestled in Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling in Japan, and then so in '92 that's when he came to WWF as Nails. And let's see. He was released from his WWF contract in December of 1992 after he attacked Vince McMahon in his office over a financial dispute. While John Nord watched the door, the incident occurred on the 14th during a house show in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Bret Hart recalled in his autobiography that Nails cornered Vince in his office, screamed down for 15 minutes. Hart claims he was just down the hall from the office when he heard a loud crash, which was Nails knocking Vince over his chair, choking him violently. The incident led to a series of lawsuits between Walcolt, or Kevin Kelly, and the WWF. Kelly won, or Kelly alleged McMahon had given him steroids on a number of occasions. McMahon denied the claims. Nails then filed a wrongful termination lawsuit claiming McMahon sexually assaulted him. The WWF filed a counterclaim against him, but both suits were later dropped in 1994. Kevin Kelly testified against McMahon during his trial on charges of supplying steroids to WWF wrestlers. He claimed McMahon had told him to take steroids, but as you see right here, did not really, if he was taking steroids, he was doing it before the WWF. He did venture off into WCW, was called a prisoner, losing to Sting at Slamboree '93. Returned for several appearances over a 6-month period from '97 to '98. His return began October 6, 1997. He defeated Yuji Nagata in a dark match. His last appearance was April 17, 1998, where he defeated Barry Darso at a house show. Then after that, Independence.
Comes off Thor with his great strength.
One of this retired around 2001.
Terry Gordy and Thor right now. Ed Thomas has been in just sort of a momentary battle, but not in for the official work.
I talked about Terry Gordy earlier, man. For a guy his size, I mean, I think they billed him as 270 at the time. But I mean, Kevin Kelly's 6'6", so looks like Terry Gordy and Kelly there is or Thor is around the same height.
Here comes Ed Thomas in now, and he's
with a body built by steak and beer. But still, even with that, the dude can move, the dude can work. Threw some drop kicks, was strong. I mean,
here comes Michael Hayes back in.
Uh,
driving that foot into Thor.
And they're probably I would say when talking about stables, and everybody likes to talk about the Four Horsemen, but I think this was at least a blueprint of what stables could be. You had the Talker, you had the Flashy Guy, and Michael Hayes. You had your Enforcer, which was Terry Gordy, and you had the guy who's kind of just got his ass kicked a lot, and an older veteran, and Buddy Roberts.
We look forward to seeing all our fans here.
I think it was the original. Of course, the original two was Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy. But I think when they went to Mid South, or should have been, I've been Tri-State at the time. But anyway, Bill Watts didn't see much out of Michael Hayes except for he can talk. Wasn't really impressed with his in-ring work. So, and Terry wasn't going to do anything without Michael. If Michael left, so would Terry. And
he drops to the floor like a there is a double whammy.
Take a person's head off, why don't you? But yeah, and of course, Bill Watts, historically like big, tough guys, and Terry Gordy definitely filled that bill. So, Buddy Roberts, who was one of the Fabulous Blondes, I believe, his partner retired or something like that. But basically, Buddy Roberts didn't have nothing to do, so and Buddy Roberts, I guess, was somewhat reliable at the time. Or he needed a solid worker to fit in, a veteran, of course. They can work with, B team with Terry Gordy, so that's how he put Buddy Roberts with Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes. So that's why you kind of seen like every territory was. Sometimes Michael will play manager while Buddy Roberts and Terry Gordy did, tag together. Of course, then the UWF came along. Terry Gordy was the first UWF heavyweight champion. And there's another guy who.
He is, of course, your current Texas heavyweight champion. However, this bout is not for the Texas belt. Across the ring is opponent, Denton County, 240 pounds.
Kevin Von Erich.
Bronco Lubitsch, your referee.
And that's called being over, people. That's when and they will let them do that. They pull that string up, let the fans come by the corner and have the babyface sign autographs, for a few minutes. And yeah, there's the signal right there from Bronco Lubitsch. All right, let's get this match going on.
Memorial Star Wars Wrestling Spectacular.
But yeah, Gino, man, he was a great freaking heel.
And his brother Kerry attacked the last time I think we saw you.
Knew how to get the heat. Knew how to piss fans off.
In a tag team event with these two.
Could probably want to be a good baby. He probably would have turned to a good babyface too. I know he did have a little bit of a babyface run in Southeast Championship Wrestling.
So here we go.
I think there was a split between him and Tully Blanchard. They were the original dynamic duo. And of course, this is the new version of dynamic duo. Gino Hernandez and Chris Adams. In my opinion, I watched very little of Gino and Tully, but Chris and Gino, my opinion, was really good. I was going to say
discussion there on
awesome.
Strategy, kind of like coaches on the sidelines. Kevin Von Erich and Gino have battled many, many times. Their wars are legendary. Their exploits are legendary against each other and in tag events.
Yeah, I think it's the second.
And it's appropriate.
What's the second? David Von Erich Memorial, where they had that hair versus hair match.
It is Kevin who goes after the World Heavyweight Championship, and we all feel, and I'm sure he does, and everyone who has followed him for years, and like his brother Kerry, who won that championship last year, Kevin.
But like Tully Blanchard said about Gino, he's a great, good athlete, good wrestler, good performer, know how to get the heat, everything else, but he like to hang out with the high rollers, want to be like Elvis Presley. Gary Hart said in his interview that he would have like a bowl, like a fancy looking bowl, right in the middle of his living room table, coffee table. And he went over there to kind of talk to him, talk shop with him. And here's Gino, every few minutes going that bowl and,
all these young athletes
Uh, but yeah, if you're doing that much cocaine, you definitely have a problem. Uh, there was a good dark side arena about Gino Hernandez, and I think there was a lot of mystery about, did he really die of an overdose, or did he die from, foul play or somebody murder him, something like that. But I think I would give them credit. I think they put that rumor to rest, but I think some people kind of think otherwise. Probably still. I think Baby Doll, I think had a junior or did one of those what's I can't think of the same guy who does the story time with Dutch Mattel. I think she did an interview with him, and which was great. If you watch, I can't think of the guy's name. English guy. The story time with Dutch Mantel, great. The one he's got with Shane Doe is pretty good. But she kind of still believes that there was some foul play. But of course, she admitted she had a crush on Gino Hernandez. But yeah.
Difficult person in that situation.
Your ass back, little kid.
Great body control.
Oh, lady, please put a bigger shirt on.
Failing, fighting, thrashing.
We did not want to see that.
His opponent breaking the holes. And the other man unable to do anything. Kevin finally drives him into a couple little here between Chris and Kevin.
And that's how this feud started too. Is Chris Turner against Kevin.
The break occurred with Chris Adams when he was
I think Chris Adams was first with Gary Hart, then he fired Gary Hart, but he still stayed at heel and teamed with Gino Hernandez. And of course, he would Kevin more likely. There's going to be another Von Erich you're going to have to deal with, and 9 times out of 10 it was Kevin Von Erich. I'm trying to think when that Mike entered his shoulder. This might have been around that time too.
Kevin going after Chris. Gino now with Chris, with Kevin, and Gino missing.
And see, that's how you miss it. I mean,
doesn't know.
I mean, even as a fan, when I see like current people miss drop kicks, they'll do that front drop kick miss. It's like you don't usually. I mean, I know a lot of people do that shotgun front drop kick all the time, but even the people who don't do the front drop kick, they will miss a drop kick doing the front drop kick. Never really made sense to me.
Jumping up on the apron. Chris Adams, bedeviling handsome.
He knows there's no guardrails here. You see a cop there. You see some, some top flight security, or I think that's probably local police officers.
Taking charge.
No rails.
Irritant now, and it's 1-on-1.
Just a screen between the fans and the ring.
Duke it out here, looks like. Well, Kevin is very adept at getting down to the raw necessities of battling. And Kevin has Gino on the run. Oops. Here comes Kevin driving in. Hammering on Gino Hernandez. Kevin Von Erich taking charge.
I don't want to do a fist spot with this guy. He's going to lay him in.
Kevin. Flying on top. That may do it. 1, 2, and no, not quite enough. Yeah, Gino broke off.
Yeah, Bronco, he wasn't going to go away. He wasn't going to lay all the way on the ground. Or do it any kind of count. That's the one thing I always notice about Bronco. I don't know if it's because bad knees, bad back, whatever. I mean, he was pretty old. He looked pretty old even at this time. You don't want to see him, sliding across and doing 3 counts. Like you see, even in other referees at this time, they would do that. Tommy Young would do that. Scratch McGowan. Hell, sometimes the Hebner would do that. Sonny Crockett. Or not Sonny Crockett, Sonny Fargo.
And the crowd picks up a chant. 99% of them. Favoring, reverse donkey kick by Gino Hernandez. A good move for Gino. Kevin in trouble now. And a great recovery by Kevin Von Erich, and Gino gets whacked right back. So Kevin Von Erich hammering on Gino Hernandez. But Kevin is a little slow now, trying to get his equilibrium back. Hammering down on Gino Hernandez. Gino hanging on. Gino pounding back, and so is Kevin pounding back in there.
According to what a lot of people say, Chris is, or Kevin's probably the most athletic one. Kerry, of course, was a better built one, a little more charisma. Daly was all business. Good work in the ring, knew how to do great promos. It's all business. I mean, they legitimately was setting him up to be a NWA World Champion. Don't know how long he would have held on to it, but
Gino Hernandez, who now has Kevin Von Erich in trouble. Here comes Kevin, and there's another kick. And Gino coming up with a pretty good game plan right here. As Kevin Von Erich groggy. Gino roll around, Gino going up, and over, and Kevin with a tremendous move. Now let's see if Kevin can do it. He does, a flying body slam, 1, 2, 3, Kevin Von Erich beats
he at least
Gino
got down on all
Hernandez.
fours on that one.
And it's going to continue, though. Gino fighting right back on Kevin. There goes Kevin, missing the claw.
There's the call. Okay, Chris has got to show up soon, right?
Kevin Von Erich. Gino rolling
Or did Chris
away,
get
trying to get out
thrown
of there.
out?
Does. But
Chris
Kevin
got thrown
Von
out.
Erich is the winner. A tremendous victory and a tune-up for that World Championship match for Kevin Von Erich. There goes the vanquished Texas American champion. Kevin Von Erich, the winner from Denton County, Texas. And we'll be back with more excitement of world-class championship wrestling in just a moment.
Kevin Von Erich, your main event winner.
Well, this has been some excitement of world-class championship wrestling. Little John, 7'7", burst on the scene as we have that great event of the American Tag Team Championship coming up between the Fantastics and the Midnight Express. And the Freebirds are back in all their wildness and glory. And next week, you're going to see Kerry Von Erich and Chris Adams in the main event of world-class championship wrestling. So join us then, won't you? Kerry Von Erich and Chris Adams in the main event. I'm Bill Mercer. Great to have you with us around the world on world-class championship wrestling. So long, everybody.
And that was it, boys and girls. Anyway, so yeah, that was a kind of your typical world-class show. They just have maybe 3 or 4 matches. Not really. First match was pretty much a squash. Second match, they kind of let Kevin Kelly, another guy, get a little bit in, and of course, third match, the star versus star. Not too many people did that. Every now and then they did. definitely hard hitting. Timing was a little off. I think probably Gino probably should have stepped in a little closer when he was delivering that reverse flying body press. But like I said, all in all, they had a pretty good product. I wouldn't say they were one of my favorites to watch, but at the time, I did like Gino Hernandez and Chris Evans. I think I was rooting more for Gino and Chris uh, than the Von Erichs. Let's see. Uh, I thought I liked Iceman Parsons too better when he became a heel in EWF, but I think this is one of those stops they did. I think they want. I think they did wind up turning against the Von Erichs after the match, uh, and they had a brief little feud before uh, the Freebirds went to Oklahoma and signed with Bill Watts' UWF. But yeah, pretty good deal though. But hey, speaking of UWF, uh, let me know if y'all like this format. Just clicking the link or whatever, or I guess we could try to do that again. Because next week I'll big thing about you. I said okay, world class, world class. Man, I want to watch some UWF. So, and like I said, UWF is probably one of my favorite promotions at the time. Uh, so next week, how does UWF sound to you folks? Uh, sometime in '86. I ain't picked one out yet. Uh, yeah, I kind of think if I could find it, I think I don't. I can't remember the exact date, but there's one very historical episode of the UWF where all three championships changed hands on the same show. So if I can find it next week on the watch along, we'll watch that together. Like I said, I think WWE owns that too, so we'll have to use this format. Maybe I don't know. I can try the old format and see what happens. It'll just be. I mean, so far I think if there's any kind of copyright issue, they'll tell me a week later, and um, I'll have to take that portion of it off. That's the reason I had to change my intro to the show. Uh, they still uh, they still flash the copyright as far as the one song, Ric Flair's old music. Um, but when I looked on it, it was like, yeah, it's copyright, but it doesn't affect the video anyway. So I'll keep that intro going on. And I thought it was kind of funny at first because uh, this is a conversation I had with some friends and family or actually family. A few weeks ago, I went to the baseball game with both my sisters, my brother, and their significant others, uh, and my niece and her husband, and kid. I think they're kids. Yeah, kids. Anyway, doesn't matter. Uh, so of course, baseball games they have walkout music too. And my younger sister asked me, you know, asked my buddy Joe. He's like, "Well, what interest, or what walkout music would you use?" Uh, I forgot what he said, but I think because it took like 30 minutes to answer the question. So yeah, I got to rib him a little bit on that one, live on the air. But then she asked me, "What would your walkout music be?" And I was like, "Two Live Crew. Hey, we want some." I can't say the other one. Uh, but the other two choices, I did blow out two other choices. Of course, one talked about earlier, Seven Does Us Black or Jackal's Dumbass Country Boy. That would be my walkout music. Um, so yeah, in the chat, in the comments, what would your walkout music be? And like I said, I think that was from the WWE Network, what they showed, because I seen the little disclaimer saying, we're going to show as much as this we can because of, you know, difficulty with tapes. That's why you didn't see Kevin Von Erich come to the ring to Ted Nugent's Stranglehold. That was his ring entrance music. But they were able to use or show Michael Hayes coming out to Bash Street USA. Because I guess since he's on contract, they got permission from him to be able to use it. Because he works there. He's one of the creative people there. I think he still works there. You just don't hear much about him. I think when it's pretty much a Triple H show now, and who cares about whoever else? Because I think Michael Hayes, Road Dogg, Bruce Prichard, I think still helps produce. Um, then you got all the other agents or producers there, but that's why you was able to hear Bash Street USA on it and not Ted Nugent Stranglehold. Just like if I did show right now, um, Kerry Von Erich, of course, Kerry Von Erich came out to Tom Sawyer by Rush, uh, which, like I said, that was my biggest pet. Even with a Peacock, that's like my biggest pet peeve. It's like I said, could you at least try calling these artists and say, hey, you know, they'll kids today they'll hear this on here and relate or it'll like it and find some kind of attachment to it, then they'll download it on Spotify. That's extra money for you anyway. Here's another $100. Go kick rocks. But I'm pretty sure these rock stars, uh, they want to get paid no matter what they say. They still, when it comes to them, they love good old fashioned capitalism and getting paid. So, yeah, it's getting about that time of night. Let me do the little plugs here. Uh, every Tuesday, I have a trivia show. It's called Wrestling Trivia Tuesday, where I ask 5 questions all dealing with the sport of professional wrestling. Tune in on Tuesdays. Usually have them up by 10 a.m. Uh, Share, play along with friends. Also comment. Let me know how you did. Or share along. Say, hey, look, here's us playing along here. Uh, Tell me who won, who lost. I'm kind of interested in that stuff. Also, I've done said that, hey, you got an interesting question you want me to ask on the show, let me know what the question is, and I'll ask it and give you the credit for it, or credit for you on the recording, and even give you a shout out in the comment or in the descriptions and probably in the comments too. Also, I do a weekly WWE Raw recap show that usually gets put up by either Tuesday evening or Wednesday, depending on how my schedule is. I at least try to have it on Tuesday. I just do a quick little recap of Monday Night Raw, give a little tips of what I like, don't like. Yes, this go watch this week's Raw recap. I couldn't help but give Michael Cole shit for confusing Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. How the you do that? I mean, like I said, Michael Cole is the Joe Buck of wrestling commentators. That's it. I mean, he makes Mask Boy, Excalibur, whatever, look like a seasoned pro. Um, anyway, enough of that rant. Speaking of AEW, I also do a AEW Dynamite recap show. I usually have that available on Thursdays. Of course, this coming Wednesday on Dynamite will be there. Okay, it won't be there. Okay, I didn't answer this last night. It's not going to be their go home show before Forbidden Door, so they'll be doing some more build up on that. So we'll definitely see what's be going on there. Speaking of Thursday night, every Thursday night I do a live stream. It's called Spot Show Live Stream. It was the first one I came up with, and basically we go through some little interesting news that happened, uh, like 3 or 4 maybe news bits that happened during the course of the week. Um, all dealing with the current product. Of course, this Thursday we'll do a brief little recap of Clash at the Castle, and I'll also be doing a Clash of the Castle recap show as well. Hopefully, I'll have that up on Sunday. Um, but if you're not a fan of the current product and you like that good old time of, I was about to say good old time rock and roll, good old time wrestling, join me here next week for Wrestling Gold Friday night. Uh, that's every Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Saturday morning in Japan, and 5 a.m. Saturday morning in India. And same like what we do here every week. Do a today in wrestling history and do a little watch along. Like I said, we did world class today. Uh, did a little bit different format. Um, Hopefully it works. If it not, we'll try to do it the old way. See what happens. Maybe there's a way I can, share it, whatever. Oh, speaking, I mean, it is labeled on here, so if you do click it, it will help out. Oh, hold on 1 second. This video was provided by Classic Wrestling Stuff YouTube channel. Um, so when you clicked it, it helped his or her channel out. I don't know if it's a him or a her. Could be both. I don't know. But so I again I didn't really ask for permission since I just shared the link. So anybody watch this is also helping them out as well and me. Uh, so yeah. Anyway, classic wrestling stuff looks like a pretty good channel. I am a subscriber to it. Uh, let's see. So I don't know how. I don't know because the video I just played. It was put up 7 months ago. Um, I don't know if they're monetized. I need to email some of these people say, hey, are you like monetized or how does it work? Since you're showing like you know copyrighted material. Um, anyway, sorry, I kind of was thinking in my head, it's like, yeah, I need to email this person see what's up. And it looks like you got some pretty good stuff here. Some southeast or southwest stuff. Uh, Old WCW World Championship 1990 worldwide episode. So might have to chit chat with him. Say, hey, you don't mind if I borrow some of your shit, do I? In case I do go back to the old format where I'll just share it straight up on here. But we'll figure out next week. Like I said, if this worked out for you, leave it. Let me know in the chat or let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay. And maybe next week I'll try the older way and hopefully I don't get in any kind of trouble for it. But anyway, this does it for this evening's Wrestling Gold Friday night. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Here. There we go. Yes. Anyway, that's does for this week's Wrestling Gold Friday night. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hopefully, everybody has a good weekend and a good week next week. Until next week, you folks have a good one and take it easy. Hey there, thank you for checking this out. If you enjoyed it, share with friends, drop a like button, leave a comment. Also, be a champ and hit that subscribe button. You can also check me out on social media, Facebook at Ronald Ray, on X or Twitter is RPATRPTV 46. Until next time.
So long from the Peach State of Georgia.